catch me howling at the moon.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Park Pros. This week I heard some of the craziest roller coaster news I've heard in a long time. Reddit user The Official AJ Young revealed on the roller coaster subreddit that Wildwater West, a small water park in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, proposed a plan to their county planning and zoning board to build an RMC Raptor at their park. On Tuesday, the local county planning commission approved those plans. Keep in mind that this does not mean that it's officially happening yet. Wildwater West officials will have to give the green light to this project and finalize the deal with RMC, but they have the approval from the city in place. Let me just reiterate this one more time before we move on. A water park in South Dakota might be getting an RMC. Take a look at this letter from the park to the Minnehaha County Planning and Zoning Board. I got an absolute kick out of this. Wildwater West Water Park is submitting an application for a conditional use permit for the addition of a roller coaster to its existing property to be opened during the 2020 operating season. Wildwater West has slowly but steadily grown for over 30 years and has been a vital force in the local economy, to be sure. This proposed attraction is sure to enhance that for decades to come. In the next few lines, it goes into some details about the coaster, which basically confirms it's going to be a clone of Wonder Woman at Six Flags Fiesta Texas and Railblazer at California's Great America. But then get a hold of this. You'd have to travel to Minneapolis to the east, Denver to the west, Kansas City to the south, and Canada to the north to see a roller coaster of this magnitude. Yes, it's a risk, but a risk worth taking in our opinion. I can only guess what an attraction of this size in this area would do to the local economy, drawing people in from far and wide. In conclusion, we consider this to be a flagship attraction for the city of Sioux Falls, and clearly a destination location to complement all the other fine attractions offered in our region. Thank you for your consideration. Francis Phillips, GM of Wildwater West Water Park. All I have to say is, wow. I think Francis Phillips just became my new favorite person in the amusement industry, and I didn't think that was possible.
Oh, wow! Bam! That's fire! Now we're cooking!
I love how straightforward this guy is in this letter. Even he recognizes how crazy of an idea this is. Sometimes though, in the amusement industry, you have to take risks, and this is one of the ballsiest proposals I've seen in a long time. A small regional water park in basically the middle of nowhere is attempting to open an elite coaster model from probably the best coaster manufacturer out there right now. Besides the obvious, here are a couple other reasons why I think this is amazing. First of all, I think South Dakota is a criminally underrated state. The Rapid City area, which is where Mount Rushmore and a bunch of other great attractions are located, is one of the hidden gems of the country. Rapid City is about 5 hours west of Sioux Falls, so this coaster gives me a great reason to head back out that way when this thing opens. Second, South Dakota only has one operating roller coaster in the entire state, 2 if you count mountain coasters. Expanding the Midwest coaster portfolio further up north is a great prospect for us coaster fans. And who knows, if this coaster ends up being a big winner for the park, this place could blossom into a legit amusement park for South Dakota residents and enthusiasts alike. This insane news got me thinking of a fun idea. What other small parks in the Midwest would be crazy enough to build a Raptor model? If this turns out well for Wildwater West, other small parks would almost certainly want to follow suit with a move that's equally as bold. Also, RMC's original intention for this Raptor style of coaster was for smaller parks. The standard clone model of this ride that RMC offers, which you can find at Fiesta Texas and California's Great America, only cost $7 million to build. And at IAAPA, RMC was offering a discount for one of these models that they had already manufactured for a 2021 construction date, which might actually be this announced coaster for Wildwater West. However, so far the 3 models that have been built and announced so far have all been at medium or larger size parks. So I think the news of a tiny water park buying one of these things could open up a floodgate of smaller parks looking to purchase a Raptor. And why wouldn't they? They're fun, they take up a small footprint, and they're relatively cheap for a major coaster. So I came up with a list of a few smaller parks in the Midwest that I actually think would entertain the idea of adding an RMC Raptor within the next few years.
Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park, Wisconsin Dells, with 6 new rides for 2006.
The first park on that list is Mount Olympus in the Wisconsin Dells. Mount Olympus certainly hasn't been shy about taking big risks with rides in the past. From building Hades, a major wooden roller coaster that goes underground, to then adding an inversion to that same coaster 8 years later, to purchasing a whitewater slide wheel at IAAPA this past year, this park loves to occasionally make some big noise in the industry. It's been several years since their last coaster addition, which would be the renovation of Hades 360 in 2013. If you go back to their last new ground-up coaster, that would be OPA, a spinning wild mouse that opened in 2006 and closed in 2014. In a park with 4 wooden coasters and a small kiddie coaster, there's no doubt that adding an RMC Raptor would make a big splash and definitely get people talking. This type of coaster would be so much different from what they currently have to offer at the park, and they could easily build it in the extra land they have near the front of the park, or they could just replace one of their 7 existing go-kart tracks with it. And come on, imagine an RMC Raptor themed to one of the Greek gods. That would be a great fit for Mount Olympus, and would add a stunning new coaster to the Dells skyline.
Wendy's in Kansas City 41 will help you catch the Thursday tickles at Worlds of Fun.
Next up, we have Worlds of Fun in Kansas City. This may be the largest park on this list, but in comparison, they're one of the smaller Cedar Fair parks in terms of attendance. I think a close comparison to the ranking of this park in the Cedar Fair chain would be California's Great America, which currently has a Raptor coaster. The biggest difference between these two parks is that Worlds of Fun has over twice the land of Great America. Worlds of Fun has so much extra unutilized land, and I think they're a great prospect for a new coaster in the coming years. My dream addition for Worlds of Fun would be an Orion-style B&M Giga coaster, just because the park has so much free land to use. But I also think that a Raptor would be an amazing fit for this park. The only traditional sit-down looping coaster that they currently have is a Boomerang, and they don't have any type of coaster in their lineup that could even come close to matching the intensity of a Raptor. Also, they haven't gotten a new coaster since Prowler in 2009, so they're definitely due for a new major thrill ride sometime soon. It seems like Railblazer has been a massive success for California's Great America, so hopefully we can get a Raptor model at one of the other smaller Cedar Fair parks soon, and I think Worlds of Fun would be the best fit. They could easily put this into their Africa section of the park and give it an amazing theme.
Six Flags St. Louis. It's not at Disney, it's all right here at Six Flags St. Louis.
The next park on my list is Six Flags St. Louis. This is the other larger park on this list, although it is one of the smaller parks in the Six Flags chain. Six Flags St. Louis is another park that's experiencing a coaster drought, with their last new coaster coming in the form of the relocated Boomerang from Six Flags Over Texas in 2013. Before that, their last new ground-up coaster was American Thunder, built in 2008. St. Louis seems like the best fit in the Six Flags chain for this type of coaster, and I know fans of their park have been clamoring for an RMC Raptor for a few years now. This is definitely a Six Flags park that gets overlooked in terms of their coaster lineup. They actually have a really solid big three with Boss, American Thunder, and Mr. Freeze. To be honest, I think a 4D free spin coaster is more likely to come before a Raptor does for St. Louis. But I still think that adding a Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster clone to this park would do wonders in transforming its thrill ride portfolio. It would be one of the best coasters at the park, probably second in my opinion behind Mr. Freeze. But there's no denying it would be a big draw for thrill seekers. I actually think it's pretty likely that we'll see Six Flags St. Louis break their coaster drought in either 2021 or 2022, and I think a Raptor is a legit candidate for the park's 10th coaster. Well, hopefully it would still keep them at 9, because if they tore out Ninja and put it in that spot, I don't think anyone would really complain.
Catch all the thrills of the kingdom at the lowest price of the season.
The next park on our list is Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville. If you really want to get picky with labels, I guess Kentucky Kingdom isn't really that small of a park anymore. Their growth since reopening the park in 2014 has been astonishing to watch, and they haven't spared any expenses when it comes to investing in new rides at the park. At Kentucky Kingdom's winter walkthrough event a few weeks ago, Ed Hart said that the park is already looking into plans for their next roller coaster. We know that the park hasn't been shy about adding great coasters over the past couple of years, adding Lightning Run in 2014, Storm Chaser in 2016, and Kentucky Flyer last year in 2019. An RMC Raptor would fit right in with the unique and visually striking coasters that they seem to be drawn to. Plus, we already know that the park has a working relationship with RMC, with them constructing Storm Chaser just 4 years ago. Of the parks on this list, I actually think they're the most likely to get a major coaster in the next few years, and I think an RMC Raptor would be a very solid fit at this park. Kentucky Kingdom is still trying to fill certain areas of the park where Six Flags removed rides, and a Raptor has such a compact layout that I think they could find a prime location to showcase it. Ed Hart has certainly shocked us in bigger ways before, so I really wouldn't be too surprised if we ended up with an RMC Raptor at Kentucky Kingdom in 2022 or 2023. And just imagine that big three lineup of Storm Chaser, Lightning Run, and a Raptor. That would have to be one of the best big threes in the Midwest, if not the entire country. So there you have it, the 4 parks in the Midwest that I think are likely contenders to get an RMC Raptor within the next few years. It would be great if these parks took a page out of Wild Water West's book by building one of the best coaster models out there right now. If there's another small Midwest park, or really any other park out there for that matter, that you think would be a great fit for an RMC Raptor, let me know in the comments down below. If you've made it this far, please consider leaving a like on the video, it really helps out the channel. And consider hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy this type of theme park content. I also want to thank you guys for all the support over the last week. Our last few videos have done really well, and I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel and giving us some love. Thank you all for checking out the video, and we'll see you next time.